Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode I want to talk to you about how you can animate your photos. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramilly. I am a French photographer from the beautiful city of Paris, France, living in Los Angeles, California, and I make 1 to 2 tutorials per week. Actually, I'm going to try to put in really a schedule, which is every Tuesday at 9 o'clock Los Angeles time, I'm going to put out a new tutorial, which is 12 o'clock for the East Coast or 7 o'clock for Europe. And I'm going to try to do a second one on Friday at Los Angeles noontime, which is 3 o'clock Eastern time or 9 o'clock in Europe. The second one might be a live show or a small tutorial. I'm going to try to stick to that schedule. All right, in this episode, I want to talk to you about animating your photo. There is a new software that just came out called Plotagraph that is really cool and super easy and super professional to get amazing animation. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so let me show you what this amazing software Plotagraph can do. So this is a photo that I took for my book of Paris, and now I turned it into this, an animation. You see how the clouds is moving left to right, how the streaks of lights here on the right are moving a little bit, and how the water is like moving inwards. Amazing with just one JPEG. And all the videos I'm about to show you, I have done in the next 3 hours of downloading the software. It is so easy. Here is another example. Will Rogers Beach in California. You can see here that the clouds are moving, the water is moving. This one I didn't export it as just 2 seconds, but it's really cool because on Instagram or on Facebook or for clients, people are going to love this. I mean, it just blows their mind. I was blown away by it. So let me see what other examples I have here. Check this out. The Los Angeles traffic. Look at how the cars are moving. Okay, so I'm looping the video here so you can see how it goes, and you can see the cars moving and the clouds moving. It's just one JPEG, and you put this up on Instagram, you put this up on social media, it just attracts more attention. So let's see what else I did with this the first day. This one is kind of cool. The water flowing around the rocks. That's El Matador Beach in Los Angeles. Let me show you another one. That's the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas. So same thing, you can see the water is flowing here on the, on the little waterfall they have. The clouds are moving around. The whole water is moving. I really think it's fun. I mean, to try to do this in After Effects would take forever. Let me show you some more examples. This one, the simple panorama from Mont Saint-Michel. All I did was getting the clouds to move. That's the sort of first thing you do when you start. Okay. Let me show you another one. This one is Notre Dame. Oh, I messed up something here. See, I made a little mistake here. Show you how to correct that in the tutorial. I mean, what I do is I revisit all the photos that I did, and I'm just playing around. Look at this, Queenstown, New Zealand, with the cloud moving, and you can just loop it because social media are basically going to loop it. And I'll tell you the best settings to export for social media. So it's kind of cool. It's really cool. What else? Oh, check this out. Black and white. Fun art black and white. It also works great. See how the clouds is moving. The water is moving all around, Statue of Liberty. That was one of my photos for my black and white course. What else do I have got? Oh, this is the one I'm going to do this tutorial on. Check this out. The river is flowing. The clouds are flowing. The clouds are flowing there also. I'm just playing around with it. Let me just loop it here again. Loop it. And so water is flowing, clouds are flowing. The clouds here are moving even slower than the clouds are moving here. That's the tutorial of today. Let's see what else we got here. I'm working on this image also trying to get the clouds to move, and you see the street traffic. I'm not quite done with this photo. This one I'm in progress on working. And one last one where the clouds are just moving like this, a bit random. I think it's really cool. Well, there's some issues here on the roof, and I'll show you how to correct this. So when you come to the software, so one thing that's amazing about this software is that it's completely based on clouds, meaning all the heavy lifting, all the calculation is done in the clouds. Now, this is the first time I really work with this type of software where it does special effects in the clouds, but it's so amazing because it's so fast to render. If you've worked with After Effects, and sometimes you have to wait for 2 minutes for rendering, especially things which are complex like this, and if you don't want to learn After Effects, I mean, This is a software really meant for professional. It's kind of on the pricey side. It's a $3.49 per year software. Right now they are doing a little promotion, a release promotion at $2.99, and you can even get 10% more of the $2.99 if you buy through me. But honestly, I would buy this if I would, I'm a real estate photographer, I'm a wedding photographer, I do portraits, I make money with my photography. If you make money with your photography, you should really have this because it's going to pay off in, in a couple of, even in one sale. Or, you're just, you have money and money is not an issue to play around with your gears, then it's the perfect thing to play around because it's going to attract a lot of attention on your social media. So let me show you an example. So it's so easy to use. You click on New Project. So I'm going to choose a file. Okay, I have a file ready here, which is a photo from Switzerland. So I'm going to call it Switzerland. Okay, I'm going to click on Create. So all you do, and it's a JPEG that's like 2,000 pixel wide. You don't need to put in an 8,000 pixel because if you do so, it's going to slow down the whole process. I mean, unless you want to do like an 8K export, usually this is for video, so 2K or 4K is good enough. So I work as a 2K because it's mostly for social media. So, just a 2,000 pixel wide JPEG is going to do the trick. Okay, so the workflow, and this is one of a bit of a complex one to show you the workflow, but here it goes. You first click here on this little icon that looks like a little light bulb, and you click on it, and basically area to mask is where you don't want the animation to take place. So I don't want the animation to take place here, on this tree, on this rock, here, and maybe here along the shore. Okay, so I just did a red line on what I don't want to animate. Then I go here and I click on areas to animate. Boom. Click on this. And I'm going to click on the sky here and in the water. That's really what I want to animate. So now all I have to do is click on the brush tool and check this out. By default, it made a pretty cool mask, which you can fine tune, but I like the mask that it did. So the next thing is to take the mask brush, and I'm going to mask that. I don't want to animate these trees. Now it's kind of tricky here because we have a lot of rocks. So I'm going to make the brush size smaller. You can use the bracket keys on your keyboard to make the brush size. And I'm going to zoom here on the right. You have a zoom. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to brush really quickly along the shore, so I don't have, too much of this rock. So I don't want to animate this rock here. So it takes a little bit of time to do that. B for brush. If you lose the brush, I'm going to make it bigger. Now I'm using a French keyboard, and the bracket keys don't always work really well on French keyboards. So I hope that's something that they're going to change for people like me who are using French keyboards. Okay, so I'm just going to... And so you don't need to do a precise mask like you would do in Photoshop. It really is like, I mean, it depends on the animation, but it's really fast. It's, I would say I spend about 5 minutes per image. This rock, I don't want to move. And maybe just this rock. Okay, so now let's look at the mask here. It's pretty good. All right, so now let me zoom back out. Click on the zoom back. So now I got the area pretty much masked. And now you click here, and believe me, there is 4 or 5 shortcuts you have to learn. This one is D for animation points. You click on it and you add points. So I'm going to add, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 points here for the sky, and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've added a lot of points here. Now let me zoom in a little bit more on the sky. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I got 4 points here on the sky. I'm going to click here on the Lasso selection tool, which is J. J is a shortcut. You always need to remember J. And I'm going to select all 4. So all these 4 points are selected. I'm going to click and drag like this. And that's going to make the wind direction. If you go longer, it goes faster. If you go shorter, it goes slower. So I'm going to go like this, about that fast. And here in the water, I'm going to, I can do this. I press J for the lasso tool, or click here on lasso tool. I can select all my points, and I can animate them in one shot. I just can click here and go further. Okay, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to back out a little bit, 100%, and you press the space bar or you click on play, and it usually takes about 5 to 10 seconds to render the entire animation. Check this out. Now there's a few things wrong with it. You see, the mask is too close here, so it takes some of that. That's going to happen to you all the time. The water is kind of cool, but I need it maybe to go a little faster and a little bit more complex. So let's correct this to start with. So I'm going to take my brush, and well, one thing you can do, you can click here on the feathering, and you got a feather preview, which honestly looks really weird to me. So this, you can see here, is the background. Background is the sky and the river, and if I go here, usually put it in the middle, it's going to feather out my selection. Okay, it's going to feather out my selection, and you can go to foreground. It's the opposite. You're going to see the mountains, the mask, and I can feather that too. Sometimes that's all I do, is I just put it in the middle, and then you can press the space bar and see if it helped a little bit. It's just going to make smoother transition, but I don't think it's going to help the issue we had. Oh, it did. Look, it did a good job here, but here it's kind of weird. It actually corrected most of the issue we had. So now this is when you have to jump in, and I'll show you a trick that's very important. So when you play around with points that you drag like this, these are moving points. Now, I don't like the way it moves as the top of the trees. I like the idea that the trees are moving, but it's way too fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, D for dot, and I'm going to put some points above the tree, which, if they are not made bigger like this, are called stop points. So now, if I press play, space bar, these stop points here are going to protect the trees. So hold on, wait for it. And you see it protects the tree. Now they're not moving. I want to move them, but not that much. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to protect this tree also. Okay, and now I'm going to click here, D, and then I'm going to click here and here to put a point, and here to put a point. And I'm going to take this tool here, the direct selection tool, which is A. D and A is it, and then I'm just going to drag this, and drag this. So small win here, you see, because it's not big, and big win there. Press the space bar. You press the space bar to render the animation while I'm zoomed in. And now we should have a little bit of movement in the tree, and I kind of like that. Now I don't like that there is no movement here, and that's because of the mask. So I can take a brush, and I can take an eraser brush and just erase a little bit some of the mask here on the tree if I want them to move a little bit, just the top of the trees. So spacebar again to play. And honestly, I started with a pretty complex example. I might show you one that's kind of more simple, because this one is kind of rough. I still think the tree, I think it will be nicer if there is more tree, being moving. So I'm going to take the eraser brush and make this whole tree move. Let's see, which is something I didn't do the first time. And the animation might be a little too fast. I like the idea that the tree moves a little bit. Okay, there's something blocking here. So let's see the points. Okay, I'm going to add maybe D for dot. I'm going to add 1 point here. A for the selection tool. Make this move a little bit. Okay, maybe a little bit less here, a little bit less here. You want very low win. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can make that tree move a little bit. And you could probably spend a bit of time to do the rest. Now, you know what? I don't like I think it's going to be cooler to not have it. So that's fine. You can just take the lasso tool and just erase everything. I think it's more cool when these trees don't really move, But it's an artistic choice. I just want to show you how you put stop points. So now we have this moving. Now I want to get this to move. So to get this to move, I'm going to take the eraser and I'm going to erase on the clouds here and here. I want these clouds to move a little bit. And remember the shortcut, D for dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, A for the selection tool. You have to remember D and A, D like DNA, the DNA. Okay, and let's see here what that's going to do. Okay, it makes this move a little bit. So now we've got a little issue there. So let's see what the mask looks like. All right. So when you have an issue like this, it is properly masked, then all you have to do is put some stop points. I'm going to put some stop points here all along this. It's going to stop the wind from going. So stop points, stops the wind, and if you drag them, it makes them go. I can even put a few stop points here. Voila. And let's see what that's going to give me. Yeah, now that's smooth. These clouds are moving slow. This is moving fast. Okay, let's do something here about the water. Maybe I can do some more complex movement. Make this one go like this one go like this one go a little faster. Maybe move this one here. Oh, I'm going to erase this one, delete. D for dot, I'm going to press here, A, to make this really fast here. Okay, maybe I'm going to erase this one, D for dot, okay, and then A, and maybe this way. Okay, this way, this way, this way, this way. Press the space bar and see how the water is moving. Ta-ta-ta. You see how fast it is, and now the water is moving. So now we got too much rocks moving. You don't want the rocks to move, so we have to fine-tune our mask here. So that's very important. All right, so I'm going to fine-tune this. And I'm going to show you a more simple example. I started by the hardest because I was excited by this photo. I really like the fact that the water is moving. I don't know, I think it brings this photo to, I think revisiting all your old photos and playing around with it, is going to give you a lot of inspiration. And then you put it up on Instagram, and just that alone is going to boost your following as a photographer. If you would just use that for social media, I know it's kind of for the pricey side, but I'm amazed what cloud computing can do. Look how fast it is. I've worked with After Effects in the past, and it's just like so much better. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to zoom out because most of the people is going to watch it from far, so they're going to watch it a bit like this. And this one I would fine tune a little bit more, but I don't want to bore you with, I showed you a few examples, but that's a bit the idea. Maybe I would get the clouds to move, or or not. And one thing I just remembered that, no, actually it's kind of cool. Let me show you another more simple example. So once you're finished, to export it, it's super easy. You just click here, export as. So you put like here, 800 pixels wide. And you see by default the duration is 2 seconds. I want to loop it at least to have like a 30 second. You see 30 seconds. So it's gonna be looping for 30 seconds. And that's the file that I'm gonna put up on Instagram. So I'm gonna click on export. And let's say that you wanted to also export it as that was an MP4, by the way, I forgot to say. Let's say you wanted to export it as a GIF also. You can click on additional export. It's going to click the 800. And instead of doing file type MP4, I'm going to go for GIF and click on export. Okay? And now I can go to my exports. And you see here, this is all my exports. So we've got Switzerland, size 800, duration 30 seconds, as a GIF or as an MP4. I click on download. I'm going to go to my export. I'm going to call this one 2 because I've already done it. So this one 2. And I'm going to take this one, which is a GIF. I'm going to put it in the export folder and give it also a 2. All right. So here is my export folder. The first one is the GIF. So it works as a GIF. It's a 30-second thing. Let me zoom here a little bit. So that's the GIF. It's less quality. GIF is not a good format. Like really try to go for MP4 because GIF takes more space sometimes, and it's not such a good quality. I find MP4 better. All the stuff we've been using on my website has been MP4. Okay, so that's cool. That's the export. It's really, I love their interface. So let's go back to projects, and let's do a new, very simple project. Let me see which one I'm going to do. Click on New Projects, choose File. So this one I'm going to call it New Zealand. Without making a typo, create. So this is a photo I shot in New Zealand, Queenstown, New Zealand, and I just want to get the sky going. You'll see how fast it is. So you click here on automated mask, area to mask. So this is going to be the place that I don't want to mask. I don't want to animate, sorry. And now I'm going to click here on the area to animate, and I'm going to click on the sky. And boom, I go right away to my brush. Okay, oh, I missed something here. So I'm going to go back here, area to mask. I'm going to mask also this part here. Okay, let's see now what the mask looks like in brush. And now, boom, we got a perfect mask. Then all I have to do is click a few animation points here, 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 here. I added 6. And then I can click here, take my lasso tool, select all these points, voila, and just click and drag them and press play. So you see here we have now the mountains which are moving, but there is still an issue. So I'm going to press spacebar to stop. I'm going to go on the feather. I'm going to click the background. I'm going to feather the background like this. You see how it makes the mask a little higher up. And I'm going to go foreground. I'm going to do the same thing. And now I'm going to press spacebar again. So all I did was feather my mask, make it, a bit more smooth on the edge. And sometimes this does the trick, sometimes it does not the trick. So in this case, it did the trick. You see, boom, it's perfect. I got the clouds moving. If I want the clouds to move faster or more complex, I can go back here. I can D and A to move the points. I can move this point like this one like this, a little faster. This one maybe like this. Like this. Oh, and one trick I didn't show you, which is important, is you zoom out. It's important to actually put, especially when you do clouds, to put little points around. Okay, it just makes the clouds go out of the screen a little bit more. I pressed play, and I'll show you why. Because actually, the animation will get the clouds like out of your shot. If you click here, where you have the different option like layer, mask, point, you can click on mesh. You will see here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. You see how the mesh, you can see the animation, it meshes with the points outside. So it's kind of cool to put a few points outside. I can tell you, if you make money with photography, this is the software you want to get. If you're into real estate photography, you can animate exterior shots. If you're into wedding photography, you can animate the hair of the lady. There is so many use you can do. Here is just a few examples that I did in a few hours. I'm really blown away. And also, what you can do if you're a landscape photographer, you can just use it like I'm using it to buzz on social media. So a really cool technology. I know it's a bit pricey, and I know some people might be complaining about this, but I really think if you make money with your photography, it's totally worth it. So check it out. If you want to get the discount and the best price, just go to my website, photosearch.com, click on my gear, and then you have here, right there, Plotagraph animated photo. You can click on the photo. You can see here all the different examples, and you can buy it here. Don't forget to use the code PHOTOSEARCH and get 10% off. It's one more tool that you can use to create an emotional impact. Have fun, guys.